Good morning. It's Wednesday, the 31st of July, and we're here to look at today's astrology and some astrology in general. I must apologise, there was no video yesterday. Actually, I had a really lovely client, and we were talking for hours. At the end of it, I didn't have time to make a video, but anyway, we enjoyed a nice chat, so that was lovely. So I'm doing this one earlier today so that you kind of like you're only 36 hours without a video. It's only because I feel guilty. Ah dear. Now, so I'm going to share, right? So this is what we're going to talk about, and you'll see in a moment because there we are. Right, the moon is at 18 degrees of Gemini and it's squaring Saturn. Which is at 18 degrees of Pisces. Now, this has reminded me of several things, which I thought you might find interesting. So the first thing is, I know that it's not common or popular in astrology for people to talk about aspects between zodiac signs. However, I do, because I think it's important to understand that some zodiac signs, if they are square, in Rumba square, that dreaded square, 90-degree angle, causing all that tension and stress, backing you into a corner, that's the kind of thing that happens with a square. So when two zodiac signs are in square, then you still get the same kind of tension and a complete misunderstanding. You get a lot of stress between them because they are so inimical to each other that they can't bear each other's point of view. And it can all get into squabbles. The only antidote for this actually is humor. But anyway, going back to Gemini and Pisces. So we've had Saturn, for instance, in Pisces for a while now. Because Pisces is square to Gemini, the activity of Saturn passing through Pisces is activating Gemini too, because Saturn is squaring all those Gemini points. And if you've got a lot of Gemini in your chart, then at some point you will have Saturn from Pisces squaring those chart points, those planets. And that will cause you considerable, let me say, it causes it does cause stress and hardship. It does slow things down. It does put boundaries and difficulties in the path, challenges, but it's all because Saturn has to test. It's there to test things out. And if things don't pass the test, then it's about ending it because it's not passing the test and it's not fit for the future. Anyway, I'll carry on with what I want to talk about rather than go on for hours about Saturn. Okay, so I'm looking at it this morning and I'm thinking, oh gosh, wait a minute. We've got Mars there at 7 of Gemini and Jupiter at 14 of Gemini. They are both obviously moving forward. Well, it's not obvious, they could be moving back, but they are moving forward. And they will get to the square with Saturn. And I was thinking, do you know, they'll probably get to that square at the same time. And I was right. I had a look and they both get to, well, Saturn at that point is at 17 because that is going back. And Jupiter and Mars are both at 17 of Gemini. So we've got Jupiter, Mars at 17 Gemini, Saturn at 17 Pisces, and together they are all making one of these dreaded squares, 90-degree angle between each other. And that actually goes exact around the 16th of August, so in 16 days. At the moment the moon is there, it won't be there then. However, it won't be far away. So what I have to consider now is, okay, what is it that is building? What does it mean when Jupiter squares Saturn, for instance, just leaving Mars out for a moment. And I think that's what I'm going to talk about. So let's just have a brief think about what Jupiter is all about. So Jupiter is all about, I've stopped sharing while I talk to you. There you go. So Jupiter is all about how we cope with expansion. Now, you're sitting there going, cope with expansion? What? Jupiter is full of buoyancy and joy, and it is completely worry-free. Why should we be coping with that expansion? And I'm going to say, well, read about lottery winners then, who get their £1 million and completely fall to pieces. The relationship falls apart. They don't feel comfortable. There's severe stress in the whole thing. Getting an enormous amount of expansion all at once can cause considerable angst. Now, it is true that Jupiter normally brings a great deal of joy and buoyancy and all the joys of life and none of the worries. It is true, but I say cope with expansion because I think even then we still have to be able to take advantage of it. We still have to be able to use it and do the right thing at the right time, have fun, for instance. And so therefore I'm saying cope with expansion. Okay, now Saturn, on the other hand, is how we cope with restriction. So Saturn restricts and puts boundaries and obstacles in the way in order to test something out, which is what I was just saying. So they will both pick up the flavor or something of the flavor of the zodiac sign that they're sitting in. So they're on the mutable cross. Now, remember, if you've got the book, you're learning all about the mutable cross and the fixed cross and the cardinal crosses, aren't you? Anyway, they're on the mutable cross, which means there is some flexibility and some dithering going on. But they are also opposite, or not opposite, but they're also different elements. So we've got the element of water for Pisces and the element of air for Gemini. And the difference between these two is quite comical, really, because there's Gemini being all precise, air is precise, and it goes, right, now, here's my organization. And Pisces, not in the least bit precise, not in the least bit organized. That is not the world of Pisces. The world of Pisces is the great deep ocean, where, if I remember rightly, there are no buildings or structures or big walls to put boundaries in. Everything is limitless. So Pisces is limitless. And in that limitless, what I would call chaos, sorry, but I am a Gemini sun, so I look at Pisces and I go, that's just chaos. It's just not organized. And then Pisces looks at Gemini and goes, you're missing half of the miraculous, mysterious, wondrous things in the cosmos because you get stuck with so much detail. So you go somewhere new and you head for a tourist office and you sit reading brochures, whereas Pisces goes somewhere unusual and wanders around, taking it all in. Totally different ways of looking at things. Anyway, it gets quite amusing, but I won't go on. So what we've got then is we've got a clash between a world where there's so much innocence with Pisces and also a lack of ability to be battle ready, to go on the attack. Pisces wants to heal the world, doesn't want to aggress it. Pisces wants to take all of the toxic material in the world and put it in its insides, where it cleanses it and holds it to stop it from being out there in the world, which it wants to make into some beautiful place. And Gemini just wants to name everything precisely, and to gather information and keep it. Pisces can't keep information. It doesn't. What? As Pisces, when its own birthday is, never mind the children's. Anyway, so we've got that sort of thing going on anyway. But let's add to it the Saturn and the Jupiter thing. Well, you'd be right in saying, well, don't they just balance each other out? It's not a bad thought. So there's Jupiter trying to expand everything, and there's Saturn going slap, 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 restrict. And so they do, as it happens, sort of, when they're in square like this, cause tensions where on the one hand, something is wanting to expand and grow, and something else is putting in boundaries and restricting. Now, because I've got planets in Gemini, I know exactly what this means at the moment. I won't divulge all of my secrets, but I can tell you that something is really frustrating me because I so want something to grow, and something else is putting in restrictions and holdups all the time. So I'm sitting here thinking, oh, I can tell them all about this. Okay. So going back to, I tell you what, I'll share again. There we go. So going back to this, in 16 days' time, when this goes exact, well, actually before, so let's say in 14 days' time, you may feel what I'm saying. You may get this sense of irritation between something that you want done, that you want organized, that you want filed, filing cabinets, everything filed, and something that just seems to be blowing all the papers all over the place, and so you can get none in the filing cabinet, that kind of stuff, right? So there's something to look for. What can you do productively with this? Accept the testing, right? So my lesson is here, listen to me, Alison. My lesson is accept that the action of testing and frustrating and holding you up is actually perfecting. It's actually making things, it's making you concentrate on something that you would otherwise just zip past. Yeah, done that, gone. And then when the result comes, you wouldn't have been ready. Something would have been missing. And so this frustration is meant to keep you on task, remind you of what you're not doing, and make notes about all the things you do need to do. I've been doing that this morning. And it will be the best thing for you because you'll produce something much better as a result. You see, I needed to listen to this. When I read astrology, I listen to it alongside you lot. I don't know what I'm going to say till I say it. I have to read the symbols. It's like looking at hieroglyphs. How would you know what that lot says without going da, 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 da. There we go. Right, that's that. I just want to make a comment about the sun in the 12th house as well. As we know, as you know, the sun rises, everything rises. Everything rises, this ascends, and this descends or goes down in a daily cycle because the world is going round a whole cycle in 24 hours. And because it's quite early, the sun in this chart is in the 12th house. I will one day talk to you about this because it's a complete anomaly in astrology that the sun, with all its strength, rises up over the horizon. And you've seen a sunrise, it looks glorious, and you feel, oh my gosh, look at the strength and power. Here comes the Sun King. But in astrology, the 12th house is the weakest house, which disempowers everything in it. I'm going to talk about that. Let's do it tomorrow. Let's understand that one because it puzzled me for years. And then, something dawned on me. I can't believe something dawned on me. Get it? I can't believe I've just thought of that. Anyway, there we go. I'm acting all silly again because Mars is in Gemini, making me all vibrant and energized. I'm sure I won't be like this when it's gone. Now I'm going to stop the share again. There we go. So I can say that's it for today. I'm so glad I've done this video early. We are in a heat wave at the moment here in the UK, and by this afternoon it'll be 30 odd degrees again. I don't know what that is in American Fahrenheit. You'll have to look it up. And all the makeup just slides off your face. So it's just as well I'm getting this done early. And I look forward to speaking to you tomorrow. And yeah, don't forget this book that's just come out has a Facebook page dedicated to it, has videos that I'm doing dedicated to the support of it. And also I've teamed up with Astro Dience, so that's astro.com, and they have given to everybody that buys the book and reads it, they have re-engineered their website to facilitate everything that you want and need is all there. So thanks to Karen, the chief editor, for that, for working with me on that one. Everything is free, right? Nobody's making any money out of this. I'm not making any money out of these videos. I'm not making any money out of those videos. Astro Dience isn't. They're giving you free registration. The book is only £12, and that's not a lot, is it? So the reason for that is my mantra always. Everybody should have access to astrology. It should be taught in schools. Everybody should learn astrology. So much pain could be alleviated by people understanding the astrology. It won't stop us having events. It won't stop us having losses, deaths, all kinds of mishaps in our lives. We will get those anyway. What it will do is enable us to look at it, understand it, learn from it, gain wisdom from it, instead of being stuck in a black hole, not knowing where we're to turn next. We would have answers. This is why it is my life's work, my mission. Before I pass on, I have to get the world learning astrology, and then I shall be very happy and poor. But that doesn't matter. I just want everybody to learn astrology. Okay, I'm going now. Shut up, Alison. Right, somewhere here I've got a, oh, what do you do? Oh yeah, there it is. I found the thing to say goodbye.